Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are working on finding theme. Theme is something that we've been working on in Accelerated Ed. So if you've been taking quizzes and doing the work there as you're supposed to every single day, you'll already know a little bit something about theme. Now we're diving in to really learn more about theme and understand what's going on. So when we opened our activity, I forgot to read the instructions. So I'm going to click view instructions and go back to it. It says read each task card carefully, considering the theme. Use the pencil tool to choose the correct response on the two answer sheets. This isn't entirely right because Ms. Farmer changed the activity and didn't change the directions. So first we're going to talk about theme before we even begin. What is theme? Can somebody that's on here read this message for me?
The theme of the story is the message, lesson, or motto or other wants you to learn.
Right. The theme of the story is the message, lesson, or moral that the author wants you to know. We talked earlier in independent reading when we're working on theme as well, because everything connects in this course as long as you're doing all of the activities. We talked in independent reading about theme, and one of the examples we used was the story of the tortoise and the hare, right? You guys have heard this story. So old. The story of the tortoise and the hare is it was like, I'm so much faster than you. Of course I'm going to win in a race. But then what does the rabbit do?
Stops and takes tons of breaks.
Right. He would like sprint ahead and then he'd like go have a little buddy or go take a nap in the warm summer sun. What did the turtle do during the race?
He didn't stop, he didn't take any breaks, and he was just doing what he had to do.
Right. He didn't stop. He didn't take breaks. He just kept going, kept walking and going and going. Was he much slower than the rabbit?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. He can be faster.
So slow. But he just kept going. And you're right, it doesn't really mean anything if you're fast or slow. What means something is how hard you're working, right? So the theme of that is like we can say theme in a few different ways. We can say theme in a long sentence to really like say the message, and we can also say it in like a word. The word that I would use to describe theme of tortoise and hare would be determination and or hardworking. The tortoise was hardworking, he was determined, he won. Those would be the words that I might use to describe it. If I wanted to put it into a sentence, I think you guys might have heard this before. Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
Ever heard that? Yeah. That's like the message or that's like the lesson, right? The lesson is slow and steady wins the race. The moral is hard work pays off. This is all the same things. They all involve theme. While we talk about theme, we're going to talk about what maybe one word we can sum this up in, and also what's like a sentence that could be delivered to life as the lesson here. So some themes we have are courage, perseverance. Ooh, perseverance. That's a really long word. Anybody know what perseverance means?
No.
No? Okay. Perseverance is kind of like dedication. You're never giving up. You're always persevering. You're always pushing forward to try harder and try better. Does that
Do
make
I have a sentence that I can make for the tortoise?
Yeah, go ahead.
The tortoise was perseverance. He was going to win.
Yeah, he was persevering, or he had perseverance, just because, how we change our words with the endings. But yeah, that was perfect. Another theme might be honesty. Like honesty is always best, honesty is key, things like that. Good versus evil, kindness, acceptance, cooperation, loyalty, friendship and love, compassion. These are all things that could be themes of different stories. So when you're trying to find theme, I'm going to just make a line here so I can see down lower. It says, ask yourself, what idea stays with you? What is like stuck in your brain after you're done reading this? Did they try to teach you an idea that's supposed to stick with you? And how did the characters grow or change? When the characters are growing and changing, that's normally for a reason. If the characters just stay exactly the same, they don't learn anything. Okay? So when they learn something, they normally change. Why did they change? How did they change? Those are the type of questions that will answer what is the theme of this story. For our activity today, what we're going to do is work on these next 6 slides. Slides 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all the same pattern, okay? You're going to read a passage, and then you're going to choose the big idea and theme in a sentence. We're going to do this one together, so I don't want you to panic, but I do want to show you what the other activity is that's not part of the same thing. We also have this, like it's a separate passage, and it says, what is the theme of the story? How do you know? And it asks you to prove how you know. Proving how you know is sometimes difficult, but when the story's right next to it, you can highlight, you can underline, you can circle, and you can say, this is how I know. It said this right here, and that made me think of this thing. Okay? What I'm going to do is we're going to go over number 1 together while I'm still recording this lesson for those friends who could not be here apparently today. And then after we do number 1, I'm going to stop the recording, and I expect everybody to be finishing the rest. Okay?
Okay.
Does anybody want to read the first passage for me, or would you like me?
I do.
Got this.
I don't want a new baby brother. Warn Kim, honey, you don't have a choice. He will be her. He will be her next month. Mom said, rubbing her big belly. Kim couldn't believe that she would have to be around a loud, scrumbly baby. Plus the thought of sharing any expense, especially attention from her mom, dad, and dad with a new baby, didn't sound fun at all. You will be one of the most important people in his life. Mom explained he will need you to look out for him and to teach him new things. I guess that's true. I will be showing him a lot of new things. Maybe he won't be a troublemaker, having a little ragged running around her. Kim replied with a sigh, just don't expect me to change his diaper. Ew.
You're right. So what do we think the big idea of this passage is?
He doesn't want to have a baby.
Right. Like Kim does not want a baby brother. But does Kim change her mind throughout the passage?
Yeah, because she gets to show him new things, show him what Kim knows.
Right. She gets to show him like new things, teach him new things. What do you think the big idea, the big theme is of this passage? Look, and I gave you options here. Do you think it's acceptance, loyalty, compassion, or hope? And if you want me to explain any of those words, I totally can.
Compassion. A.
Okay, you want to know what A is?
Yeah.
Acceptance is like when you're like, when you accept something into your life or you accept somebody into your life. So when you meet a new friend and you're like, I don't know who this is, like, because they're not a friend yet, they're really just a person. And you're like, I don't know, she kind of has an attitude. He's kind of really good at basketball and I don't think he'll be nice to me. And then like you realize you can be friends with that person and you become friends and you accept them into your life.
Yeah, that one. Acceptance would be right because that's what the whole story is about, accepting that have a baby brother at the end.
Right, exactly. So the big idea of this is acceptance because like at first she was like, yeah, no, I don't want a baby brother. That's not going to happen. I'm not sharing my stuff. And now she's like, yeah, I guess I could share and I can teach him things and I can show him things. She still doesn't want to change his diapers, which like, I don't blame her, but like definitely closer to accepting him completely. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So then let's think of a sentence that can go with this. Is it A, anger can help you take responsibility for your behavior? B, new babies are just loud and slobbery? C, feeling important can help people accept change more easily? Or D, hoping for a future with no siblings is always useless?
C.
Which one?
C.
I heard B or D and I couldn't tell which it was.
C.
Hoping for a future with no siblings always is useless? No, some people don't have siblings.
C. I pick C.
Oh, both of you are picking C?
Yeah.
3 of you?
C.
C? Yeah, feeling important can help people acceptance. It's not going to be B. I know in here it says like she would have to be around a loud, slobbery baby, and it like called the baby loud and slobbery. But babies aren't all loud and slobbery. That's not the big idea of this passage, right? Like, is it in the passage? Yes. But is that like the thing that the author wants you to think about? Is that the thing that you're supposed to like be thinking
No.
about in 5 minutes? No, not at all. What's important is that when she was told, like, hey, you're going to get to teach him thing and you're going to be a big part of his life, he's going to need you. She was like, yeah, okay, I guess this won't be a terrible thing. Because when you feel important and when you feel like you are a part of something, it's easier to accept that as a responsibility and to accept that as a possibility in life.
And
So
you
it's
also
really important
never
that people accept change.
and you also never know, he or she might not be so loud or not so slobbery.
Right, exactly. I mean, some like babies are loud when they cry. Babies are slobbery when they spit up. But that's only sometimes. And like that's not the whole big idea. The big idea is like we can accept this into our lives and our lives will still be okay. So I'm going to stop the recording here. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please join Zoom so you can ask me questions. But for now, we're going to work through the rest of these independently. Let me stop this real fast. Where's me?
Wow.
Wait, Arabella already left?